Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.
30, we're going to have public comments. We have minutes from December 6th. And then we have policy number 5185, anaphylaxia. Policy number 5145, condom availability. Policy number 4035, conflict of interest in hiring. Policy number 6050, special ed education. And policy number 6230, curriculum-based field trip. These policies have all been through all of the boards except for one, which is Sandgate. And I'll be asking that we lump all of these together based on some input from administration Lisa and some others, so we can jump all of these together at one time, because there were no comments along that line. So I'll be one to do that for those. We have policy number 6350, which I just want to say something about that removal of that policy, which is the next one. And then we have some information from Donna and Sarah concerning what needs to be in place for the grade advancement, retention, and promotion policy, and added to 5016 proficiency-based graduation requirements as an administrative reg section. And then the next one we have is C12, prevention and sexual harassment prohibited by Title IX. And we have the tracking sheet. There were several other items on here that we're not ready for yet. Even in the minutes, we said we were going to be ready for 5090, interrogation and search procedures for students. We're not ready for that, and we're going to put that off to the next meeting if we have everything done for that. And for future consideration, threats and disruption in the schools. So that's what the agenda have. And unless somebody has something else they wanted to change from that, I'll add, I don't see anybody with any comments. There's Dick's on, okay. And Jackie, no, okay. Then I have 40 minutes most tonight before I have to get out. As I can see, they told me to wear my outfit. I have a high school game that's supposed to be starting at about 5:15, so I have to be out of here. It takes 10 minutes to get there, so 5:10 is the latest that we'll be out of here, unless somebody else wanted to take over, in which I thought we was going to have the vice chair here, but she called in and said she may or may not be on. So with that, we can proceed tonight. I just want to welcome everybody and thank everybody for coming aboard. And we have any public comments at this time?
Leon, it's Bill Basic. It's not a public comment, but can I comment on Sandgate?
You can, right? Yes, you can.
Okay, I'll do this quick. I know you got to go, but they're not interested in any other policy that is not mandated by the VSBA, was the advice they got. So they won't be participating in the non-mandated policies. I just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
As a non-operating school district.
Okay. Oh, that's good. We'll have that down for the record. Thank you. The next thing is the minutes from December 6th, 2120 policy committee meeting. And I have a motion and a second.
So moved. Second.
Fran and Jackie, move. Chris, you got your hand up?
Yes, Leon, it's about Bill's comment before. So if you want to take care of the motion on the floor first, you can get back to me.
Yeah, we'll be doing that. Okay, well, all in favor of the minutes from December 6th as read and presented? Is there any comments or none?
No.
All in favor, so aye?
Aye.
Okay, no extensions and no opposal. Okay, good. We'll go back to public comment if you wanted the public comment is just public comment. So if you got a public comment, Chris, that you want to make, you can do that, but it's not a debatable conversation.
No,
right now.
understood, Leon. No, this was more just a question on Bill's statement that Sandgate does not want to participate in any of the non-mandatory policies. And I'm just wondering if we've had the supervisory union council weigh in on what exactly that means, because I'm not sure what the impact of that is. And if someone else is here, if someone else here is aware of what that impact is, I'm all ears. This can just be an education point for me, but I do wonder, because Sandgate will be coming in under this SU, I wonder what it means if they are choosing not to participate in some of our SU policies.
I
Can I
heard the
answer that one?
comment.
We did check this with the VSBA, or they checked it with the VSBA.
Well, what I wanted to do on the public comment is that we heard the comment and from Bill, and I heard it from Chris. And so we won't discuss the pros and cons of the public comments until we'll get down, because I'm going to talk about something else down below when I mention these other policies, and at that particular time I can discuss that.
Okay.
Okay. So the minutes and the public comments has been passed. So I mentioned earlier.
I have a public comment.
On
Leon, I have
Yes.
a public,
Jackie has a public comment. Okay.
yes, I want to wish Dick Franz a happy birthday.
Oh, yep, I forgot. Thank you. Happy birthday, Dick Friend.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jackie, for reminding me, because I had made a note. Okay, the next thing, it was recommended that I lump all of these policies together and have a vote on one. And the reason for that is that they went through all of the boards for a warning, and there were no comments or changes made to any of them. And the recommendation is to take 5185 anaphylaxis, 5145 condom availability, 4035 conflict of interest in hiring, 6050 special ed education, and 6230 as one group of policies to be considered passed, for the night. Now, one of the things that I wanted to say, everyone voted on these policies except for Sandgate. And my understanding of this is Sandgates meet every 2 months, every 3 months. I wrote it down somewhere. So, Sandgate meets every 3 months. So our policies and things operate on a monthly basis. So we had legal weigh in on the fact that should these policies be held up because they haven't had a chance to look at them. And they said, no, we should move these policies on, because what they do is meet once every 3 months. And once that 3 months come around, then they should be considering these policies in one form or another, yay or nay, with comments. So I hope that would answer some of Chris's question. This is an SVSU. This is a commitment, and we had our legal representative look at what it is that we needed to do for the policies that don't get a chance to get looked at. And so the specifics of saying whether they was required or not required, I'll have to send that particular thing back to them because this is an SU initiative and all the policies go to all of the boards in the districts, whether they like them or not, to make a comment on them. And so it's a lot of I don't want that took place long time. I know that's why Chris is saying what he did. For some people were saying, I don't want this one and I don't want that one. Well, they didn't have any choices. SU will be submitting and sending all of the policies to the boards to make sure that they have a comment at their next available meeting. So the minutes will reflect that. So with that in mind, could I have a motion to accept all of the policies that indicated?
So move.
Second.
Been moved by Fran, second by, that was Chris. Okay.
Yes.
Any other comments? Seeing
Can I
none.
just make a quick comment on that, Leon? Just so I can tell you that what they're thinking, because I don't think it's that they don't want to be involved. I don't want them to think that they're being difficult. Can I make a quick comment?
Yes.
Yeah, so what they got advice from SVSU Policy of the VSBA, who told them, since they were a non-operating district, just to adopt the required policies, which they did. And so that was a little conflicting advice. I will reach out to the board chair there and tell them what the SU would like them to do, but it was never to be difficult or anything. It was just the idea of they took the legal advice from the VSBA as a non-operating school district to only adopt the required policies as other non-operating districts in the state.
Thank you. Okay, so are there any other comments concerning these policies that they know all in favor of the policies being accepted and passed on to the next level for adoption? Raise your hand or state aye.
Aye.
Anybody abstaining? Any noes? None. So all of the policies are set to go on for the next phase of it, in which involve adoption by all of the districts. The next item on the list is policy the 6350. This policy has been hanging around for some time, and we had a lot of concerns and a lot of pros and cons about what to do with it. Well, by the time we got a chance to do some, I think the school board association says, drop it. We dropped the policy. We said, well, what do we need to do here? With proficiency-based learning and the two individuals that we're going to have talk tonight for us, Sarah and Donna, is going to tell us how we are going to integrate information and those concerns that the retention and promotion and acceleration of students is not really required, but we can take the things in terms of proficiency-based learning and work with students to achieve the goals that we need to have. And so I just wanted you to know that 6350 is out. That would no longer be a policy. And now we'll have a discussion and that Laura wants to do.
I'll start. Yeah, is it okay if I start?
Yes, Laura wants to start. Now, we're saying we need to probably take no more than about 8 minutes for a discussion here. So we can split that up any way you guys want.
Thank you so much. So knowing that one of the benefits of the pandemic was the ability to reflect back on our system and to create something that really reflects an educational system that supports our learners. We started this process last year. Dr. Abbott is here as well. She was part of the process last year, and Principal Donna Colley is here. And then this year, what we did is we had an administrative principals meeting, and we asked for a subgroup. I know that the policy committee had asked at the last meeting to hear from some of our principals. in regards to policies, and this is one we've been waiting to come to the table to ask for, again, because it's being removed, to have it, some guidelines be moved to administrative regulations. So Principal Colley and then Principal Pickering, who is also here. We're so glad to have both of them here from Arlington Memorial High School. We had a subgroup meeting. Bill Basic was part of that conversation. Kate Abbott was part of that conversation, and some more of their peers. So we are having some, this is gonna try. Kate Abbott is ready. Kate Abbott is has the document ready to share. It's called Planning for Student Learning Outcomes. And I'm just gonna, can we go right to the admin regs? Is that okay?
Well, 6350, the one that's up is gonna be out.
Oh, Kate, can you
Okay.
just put up planning, the one I sent you? Yep, thank you, Kate. And then I'm gonna let Donna and Sarah just thoughts why this is an important move of just moving this procedure to admin regs.
Okay. Up, who's going
Yeah,
first?
Don,
Oh.
either Don or Sarah, either one of you want to share just anything about this
I'm-
move?
I'm fine with beginning and then certainly lending to my colleague, Principal Pickering, with her knowledge at the secondary level. So I really had the opportunity to kind of speak to the elementary level. I have always been in support of what you now see the admin regs versus a policy of retention for children. I think we have done a wonderful job in this district looking at multi-tiered systems of supports for many years now. Certainly in my role as principal, I've seen it evolve over the years. And I think we also are mindful that now planning for student outcomes through this admin reg document allows us to really focus in on individual students and their needs, whether that be something organic or if they're experiencing trauma. We can do that through many ways, including individual education plans, 504 plans, educational support team plans, and as well as just some tiered intervention. Maybe that's only support for a double dose of tier 1. But we really have done a nice job of documenting supports for learners if they are falling behind for a variety of reasons. And we certainly know the pandemic has really demonstrated some enormous challenges for our students and our families. So, you know, as an elementary school principal, I'm very much in support of what we've identified as admin regs for our students to support them in moving forward each year. And I will lend to Principal Pickering for the secondary level.
Thanks, Donna. I too very much support this process in the admin regs. It does support all learners as we think about how that might fit into middle level planning as well as high school proficiency-based learning. We also use the MTSS system here and early detection and identifying students who are struggling through Act 177 and the flexible pathways. This really provides us an opportunity to have multiple ways in which students can meet specific proficiencies and or credits. So in this specific plan, it allows us to identify students early and also have targeted interventions for them to get them and keep them on the continuing growth path. And in addition, it also allows for us to think about students and their learning. How do we personalize their learning to make it relevant, to make learning relevant for our students, engaging, but also to advance them. It's a little different in the high school levels because you do have the even though you have maybe the same set of proficiency-based graduation requirements and power standards, you're able to offer those at different levels for students, like college prep, honors, and through AP courses. So I too am very much in favor of this going to the admin regs. It does, I believe it truly supports the ongoing growth opportunities for all learners.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and Sarah, you hit right on one of the key points at the elementary level in terms of being in the difference between the high school. The acceleration part of it, we did have questions and comments where a lot of parents were saying, well, my kid is sort of gifted and so forth along that line. You can adjust that learning plan for that particular kid along that line. What we don't do is move a person a grade level from one grade, say 4 to 5 or vice versa, but you can accelerate their learning ability and keep them in the group by age in which they entered into the school. And at the high school, you have multiple classes that they can choose and pick at different levels to be able to do, and the basing on their ability to perform. So with the comments from both Donna and Sarah, I strongly support the removal of the advanced and retention, promotion, and acceleration policy. Add the administrative regs onto policy 5016, proficiency-based graduation requirements, administrative regs, and that the introduction of this policy 5016 will need to have Arlington and Sandgate put in the header as always. We have a hand, Dick.
Yeah, I certainly agree with the input from the professionals here. And thank you, Sarah and Donna. I just want to say that one of the things we don't do very well in the education system is tell the public what we're doing and why. And I often hear that they let our students go forward or graduate or whatever state without knowing what they need to know. Somehow we have to factor that into our public information office so that some of these things, so that the public is satisfied that they have a good system here. We know it, but they don't always.
Well, that's a good point, and I think we can have that done. We got a public information person here in the central office can do a whole chapter on just that. Jackie.
Well, one of the things we do when we go over policies, and I agree with what Dick just said, but is we look at what the policy is, the 5016 policy, and check to see if the references are still correct. And so since I don't have a copy of the document that was shown on the screen, I can't check those, okay? And do I presume that that's the Vermont Education Quality Standards? Because I don't have those either. And so it's hard for me to say yes to going forward with 5016 if I can't check those references. The other question I had, the second question I had is under 5016, and it's page 5, where it stipulates what credits, and I presume that these are credits similar to what they used to call Carnegie credits for graduation. It just has art, number 7, and I certainly would, I like art a lot, but I would think that you could put arts instead of just art, so that you can include music and theater as well.
Okay. So, but it sounds like
It's just that, yeah.
we could still add the information on that's going into the administrative regs.
Yeah.
And then how Jackie wants to make sure she look at all the references in here. That that can most certainly happen along that line. It's no national emergency to say to put this in place by our next meeting. And so we can add that in and say could send this back for final review in its final form at our next policy meeting, so that Jackie have a chance to check all the references.
Right, and particularly look at number 7 under page 5, where it does say art, but then it says clear and effective communication, creative, practical problem solving, informed and integrated thinking, responsible, and involves citizenship and self-direction. Truly, that's an art. It's a plural and not just art.
Right. Okay. So that's how we can handle that one along that line. So if everybody can live with that, we'll add the administrative regs guidelines on to that, which and with the comments that Jackie made for that on the administrative regs on page 5, we can bring this back April when everybody's had a chance to check all of the references. She likes to check the references. We want her to check all those references. So, okay, is it in agreement? And we talked about adding Sandgate and Alderton into the header, and then come back.
Oh, wait, already did.
She's already did it. All right, we'll come back. Thanks for that. All right, moving along here. The next policy piece that was on the package that was referenced, that was I think one of the individuals mainly in the central office here, and someone else outside in the community, was a lot of questions being asked about the prevention of sex harassment and prohibited by Title IX, as it is prohibited by Title IX. And so I think that was Jonathan here in central office was asking about that. It was another board member from the Career Development Center. And so this policy piece came in right on time. I'll tell you, if you didn't get a chance to read it, it's no easy reading, and it's 23 pages. And our lawyer, the legal advice was to accept this policy just as it is written in reference to C12. So Lisa has already come up and put the format in, the prevention of sexual harassment as prohibited by Title IX, and we would have references in there, because anything that change, it will be part of the educational requirement to make those changes, and all we would be doing is referencing those changes in our policy system, and all of the details of everything and how to handle everything that you want is all in the policy. So if you didn't get a chance to read all the details, any scenario system that you have, who's responsible for doing what in terms of notifying, who's responsible for reporting, examples of situations, everything you can think of is in this policy piece. And so I'm in favor of adopting this policy. We would have to give it a number, just as is recommended by our legal counsel, to refer to it just, I mean, in its natural format, and as they prepared it for all of us. So,
Leon, I'll make that motion.
okay, that's Chris. Moved, did he get a second?
Second.
Then second, that sound like Dick? Is
Yeah.
that- Okay, it's been moved and second. Now, are there any other comments concerning this policy? Moving it into the SVSU format, giving it a name, and referencing it to be the same as it is as provided.
I have just one simple comment. It references a district instead of saying the district. In other words, it's kind of like everybody's district instead of our district. So if you look at it, it says, oh, I see.
Fourth line down, the fourth line down in the document is what you're saying, a district with
Right.
actual knowledge and sexual harassment. So I don't know that we can't make an adjustment in terms of the correctness of the language that would do that, but we will be referencing this particular statement of policy that way. If we start, and my only comment, if we start to make changes to it, as opposed to adopting it exactly like it is, I see on through that, they have a report, you know, along that line. They use that phrase right along. So is that something that you insisted on that we try to change, or you just bringing that to the attention, Jack?
I'm bringing it to your attention, but you know, I'm sure in 3 or 4 or 5 years, this whole thing will change again. So we can let it lie and see how far it goes.
Okay, we'll let the minutes reflect that, you know, the notification of a district in there, and we're gonna let it stand as it is, and then move this particular policy on to a
Warning.
a warning. Okay, thank you, Jackie, and okay, well, that was the comment. All in favor said aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any extensions? No, it's all the ayes have it. Thank you.
Does it warrant a number at this point, or are we going to wait on that?
We'll get a number to put to it before it goes out.
Thank you.
I'm
Okay,
gonna choose a number close to the other harassment policy.
right. So that leaves then just the tracking sheet. If for us to look at. Fine. Okay. So the tracking sheet is up, and what we have on here is what the policies went through, and maybe we'll put a note in the header for Sandgate or somewhere, an asterisk, but as a minimum that they meet every 3 months, so that everybody, when they see that, they'll know that there may be a reason why that they hadn't had, even if they were required, they didn't have a chance to get to them, and we'll have those other issues resolved. But right now, the draft, the tracking sheet will need to show that they meet not monthly, but 3 months. Okay, and then down on the tracking sheet below, we have the 6350 that we would say that we would have the comment that would be deleted from our immediate policy review process. Okay. Are there any other questions pertaining to the now the column administrative regs? We'll have a chance to get to add all of those things in there sometime to say yes or no for those. Are there any other questions concerning the policy tracking sheet? If not, these are all the items that I wanted to cover tonight. And so I just want to thank everybody. If there's no other comments, for showing up on Zoom or in presence here. And as always, I'm thankful for Lisa for having to spend a lot of time trying to help put all this together. And for the public, you can see if you heard some things tonight, we heard from people in various areas of the systems in terms of administration, public, and so forth along that line concerning policies and their input. And I want to encourage you to continually review the things along the policy and procedures and come back to us if you have some concerns. So our next meeting formally, because of the voting, will be April 4th. And all in, with that, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Then moved, a second? Jackie, second it. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, anybody abstaining? No. Thank you, and we'll
Yep.
see you on April 4th.
Have a good game.
Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.